Hello everyone, and thanks for checking out part 1 of the 25 best indie games of 2025. I played a ton of games, roughly 50 to 60 games this year, and condensed it down to my 25 absolute favorites. Thank you for the amazing year, and I can't wait for 2026. Make sure to subscribe to get part 2. It's a long list, so let's get right into it. 25. Peak. Indie games can draw huge crowds. You don't need to be graphically realistic or over the top in design, and sometimes the players need to be the stars of the game. You may be playing a character, but the best things I've seen from games like Peak are the unique and original interactions players have that are sometimes funnier than even scripted TV shows and movies. Improvisation is one of my favorite types of comedy, and it thrives in games like these. Getting someone to laugh is always a dopamine rush for me, and seeing people crack up to Peak has been a delight. When you start to do it yourself, it truly comes together for an unforgettable experience. 24. Pocket Boss. Pocket Boss is short, at between 30 to 60 minutes to complete. It's a perfect game that fits in one session but will have you thinking about it long after. It has a way with humor and playfulness that definitely gets its point across quickly and only subtly will poke enough at you to remind you of some awful boss that you've had and how superficial everything can be in a corporate setting. Mario von Rickenbach has a way with humor, design, and gaming that is something I can connect from playing Time Flies and now Pocket Boss. He's captured the animated shorts core and built it into a nice little game. Minimalist and with great sense of humor while just scratching the surface of misery in the daily grind. 23. Morsels. Morsels has been a blast. The demo was enough to get me into the world and increase my anticipation, and the full game is everything I expected and more. It's nice to see that, so close to the end of 2025 gaming season, Morsels has snuck its way into my top games. Furculous Morsels is a unique creature collecting shooter that will have you cracking up at its characters and gameplay fun, bopping your head to its fire soundtrack, and keep you coming back for more runs. Fun fact, it was also my biggest review of the year, so thank you so much for your support. 22. Ela, a Frosty Glide. I completed Ela all in one session because once I had my first glide, I didn't stop until I rolled credits. Ela, a Frosty Glide is a gorgeous little game that takes inspiration from games like A Short Hike and builds it into a beautiful world filled with hints of magic and wonder. It keeps the narrative at your fingertips with handwritten letters that dive deeper into the lore and gives your main focus to gliding around, unlocking new ways to be yourself as you playfully look for your adorable cat, Poco. 21. Fretless. I was in multiple bands in high school, and honestly, if I had to battle my way to the top, I would have taken that chance in a heartbeat. The gameplay in Fretless, The Wrath of Riffson is smooth and has a quick ramp up to covering the basics, and the upgrade system is an engaging setup that is gorgeous and doesn't have you stuck in overly designed UI systems. It's straight to the point, gets you to battle without excessive grinding, and keeps you entertained with goofs and jams throughout. It's why I believe it's a must-play experience for RPG fans alike. 20. Into the Emberlands. Into the Emberlands embraces the classic trope of bringing light to the darkness, but it surprises me with its unique approach, using a grid-based map system to navigate and forage. I don't typically enjoy games where you need to farm for materials, so I was hesitant, but when I ended up spending hours exploring and scavenging instead of completing my objectives, you know the game is doing something right. It's a wholesome exploration game that to me is visually stunning. The core gameplay loop, character designs, and wonderful soundtrack all come together to create an experience that is fun, relaxing, and somehow tricks my brain into farming for 10 plus hours that feel like only 2. 19. Lushfoil Photography Sim. Being solo in some environments can feel lonesome. Hiking solo, even in the real world, you'll come across some hikers. Though the solitude is nice to have once in a while, I could have done with a few people in the game, but that's not what Lushfoil Photography Sim is about. It's about taking a step into a world of an avid hiker who appreciates a tranquil and gorgeous landscape. Matt is sharing a bit of his world with all of us and taking us on a trip we will never forget. A breathtaking, meditative escape complemented by a chill soundtrack and revolving around capturing small moments to stay with you forever. 18. Babushka's Glitch Dungeon. Babushka's Glitch Dungeon is inventive, hilarious, and trippy culmination of a solo dev's connection to his grandma. My grandma is an OG in that my parents never really played video games with me, but my Babushka would sit down and shred Super Mario Bros. On NES. She's almost 90 now, and I would not be surprised if she could still play it and complete a level with ease. She wears her veil in the same way Babushka does in the game, and legit looks like her. So it felt like I was playing as my own grandma here. The game's mechanics, design, and glitchy nature make for an experience that is rewarding and puzzling at times. It has many hidden ways and speedrunning opportunities, so it makes for great replayability. 17. Rift of the Necrodancer. Rift of the Necrodancer is pretty straightforward. If you grew up with Rhythm Heaven style games or even Guitar Hero, you'll have a fun time with Necrodancer. You can play the story mode if you're familiar with the franchise for some entertaining back and forth with main characters from previous titles, or if you just want to jam, you can jump into quick play mode and unlock diamonds to play new songs. Rift of the Necrodancer is a fun, rhythm-thumping game that will have you dancing along to the beat, fully immersing you in the experience. With a polished visual aesthetic and one of the best soundtracks of the year, it's a must-play for me. 16. Henry Halfhead. Henry Halfhead was a goofy, fun time solving puzzles, doodling around the game, and getting to learn more about his life from a youngster to his old age. With someone who struggles with ADHD at times, I can see a little bit of myself in Henry during the school level, getting distracted and in a bit of trouble for himself. It's often swayed into dramatic or sad themes. It's brief, but it gives you just enough to take you out of the silliness and feel something for poor Henry. He's just trying to do his best in a chaotic world, just putting on a different hat and learning lessons along the way. And that's alright with me. It's a cute and fun game that had me feeling happy by the end, to see how much fun Henry is and the achievements he made along the way. 15. Is This Seat Taken? Is This Seat Taken is a cute and cozy experience that, even when levels were frustrating, still had a unique coziness to it. The music is chill and relaxing, never straying from its main theme and inviting calmness throughout. Its visually appealing look and feel is a staple that made me so interested in it to begin with. The puzzles gradually increase in difficulty, but not so much so that it becomes an issue. It also had a charming comedic thread throughout, with the intros to levels and dialogues between characters that I loved. Wholesome Games Presents is truly onto something here, and I'm excited to check out more of their published games and hope for more from Poti Studio. 14. Miscellaneous: A Tiny Tale. I loved Miscellaneous: A Tiny Tale from beginning to end. Its heartfelt narrative builds upon the relationships of these little robots connecting for a greater good. Its emotional scenes feel real and mixed with its sense of humor make for an unforgettable story. Don't forget though, this is clearly made for kids. You know how every animated TV show or movie, though targeted at children, will have things for adults in it? Well, this goes for Miscellaneous: A Tiny Tale as well. Between the witty characters, inventive platforming worlds, beautiful soundtrack, and more, I think if you've liked what you've seen so far, you'll enjoy this game. 13. Wheel World. Wheel World is another great title published by Annapurna Interactive. Since I started reviewing games, it's almost been a guarantee that the games they work with will be great in terms of gameplay, visuals, and collaborators. I raced and explored Wheel World for 5+ hours before completing the main game, with plenty of bike parts and collectibles still littered around the world. I can imagine it being 2 to 3 more hours to find all the hidden items and clear every race with all the race rep unlocked. The gameplay loop is fresh, with plenty to discover, while vibing out to the smoothness of the Italians Do It Better soundtrack. And I'm not gonna lie, it could be one of my favorite albums of the year as well. 12. Poco. I still keep saying I don't like point-and-click games, but now 2 years in a row, one of them has made it into my top games of the year. Poco is a charming tale about a clown cast out by his peers. Through some pointing and clicking, you'll find the heart of those around you. It was a free game made by university students who called on their community, just as Poco does in the game, to create one of the best visual games of the year. One of the best parts is that we picked it as our gaming club's game of the month for September, and the discussion opened my eyes to many more point-and-click games I've wishlisted and I'm eager to play. I didn't post a review on this myself, but the community did. Basic Fun's review of Poco will be linked in the description below, as well as a written review by Margot from Substack. 11. Time Flies. Time Flies takes the simple premise of a fly's life and stretches it out into 4 hilarious chapters that will frustrate you, make you laugh, and appreciate the smaller things in life. Each death is meant to be learned from, and will keep you at the edge of your seat when reaching the final seconds of a run. The gameplay for all 4 checklists took me roughly 2.5 hours, with the last one taking just about an hour itself because I kept accidentally dying. The developers knew exactly what they were doing because you have many times where you know you can make it, but just seconds out of reach will have to do it all over again and again and again. Is the gameplay the joke, or are you the joke for playing? I will never know. Alright everyone, thank you for checking out part 1 of the 25 best indie games of 2025. The top 10 list is coming up in part 2. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, and like and comment what are some of the top games that you played this year. Check out the full playlist of all the games released this year, and if you haven't seen 2024's list, here's part 1 on your left. Thank you, and as always, GG.